the Citizens Committee nominees continued aggressively their expose of school conditions. Each Saturday, they inspected a group of Arlington schools, followed by reporters who now gave wide publicity to their findings. Opponents of reform were quick to reply.
That Citizens Committee is nothing but a bunch of radicals.
LeBeau's group wants soft jobs for themselves in our school system.
And if that bond issue goes through, somebody's gonna profit. Mark my words.
Kindergartens and all-day sessions. So the mothers can go gadding about to cocktail parties, I suppose.
Maybe, but I think they're a very sincere group of people. I'm for them, my dear.
With excitement high, the school improvement group worked to get out the vote on Election Day. For this first school board election in Virginia's history, an unprecedented number of citizens turned out to vote, some 13,000. The long weeks of strenuous campaigning had paid off, and the school improvement candidates won a smashing 2-1 victory with their entire slate elected. Thus, a group of amateurs, working against well-entrenched opponents, got the people on their side and licked the political machine. The newly elected board went right to work. In order to find out how many new schools and teachers were needed, the board asked the Federal Bureau of the Census to make a special survey of Arlington County. The board discovered that Arlington had almost 1/8 of a million people, and that its child population was concentrated in the lowest age groups, those which would be moving into the schools by 1950. Other good sources of information for the new board were citizens' advisory committees, which reported on school conditions and recommended an even bigger school budget. Armed with the census and the advisory reports, the school board asked for and got a $4.75 million bond issue in November of 1948. With funds assured, the board members visited neighboring well-designed schools and looked over sites in the county where their own future schools might be built. Careful planning with the architect selected assured economy and functional design for 7 new schools and for several additions to older ones. With plans finally approved, construction was started on the new buildings. The new board, in little over a year, had done a job which ordinarily would take years to accomplish. Besides the construction program, Arlington caught up in other ways. An improved school health project, supervised by a full-time doctor, has been put into effect. A haphazard musical curriculum was straightened out, and today, even the youngest children learn to tootle an instrument. Keeping pace with modern trends, Arlington's visual aid program was expanded by the formation of a teaching materials center. There, teachers could readily find such needed materials as slide films, phonograph records, and motion picture films. Over 50 new teachers were hired, so that for the first time in decades, teachers had a chance to give their pupils some individual care and the benefits of enlightened teaching methods. Teachers were freed from worry about holding their jobs and could now depend on a standard pay scale. The new superintendent, William A. Early, had little trouble recruiting new teachers.
You'll find it great working here, Miss Young. Between you and me, Arlington is an educator's dream because the people in this town really are interested in their schools.
Meeting regularly to further the improvement of the nation's schools by citizen groups are a number of prominent laymen who in 1949 formed a National Citizens Commission for the purpose of impressing on every American the urgent need for him to take an active part in the betterment of his own community schools. In New York, the commission has set up a clearinghouse for information on school progress in every part of the country.
We're very interested to know what Arkansas has been doing, Mr. Bonds.
Arkansas has always ranked practically at the bottom of the states insofar as money expended for educational purposes goes. Last year, for example, we spent only $85 per child. This year, under our new governor, Sid McMath, we're making our plans to get off the bottom rungs of the educational ladder. We organized a caravan, an educational exhibit on wheels, which during 1 month traveled over 2,000 miles and exhibited in 16 communities across the state. That way, we showed these communities the best in school equipment. And the purpose of our caravan is for the people at the grassroots to see how much better opportunities their children would have if they gave their schools adequate support. We need right now $50 million worth of new buildings. We want these to be modern and scientifically planned, but we're stretching every dollar that goes into them. Local districts are raising about $15 million on school bonds, and thanks to Governor McMath, the state will try to help poorer districts with $1 million in building aid. This isn't enough, but our state is rapidly beginning to climb out of a situation that our citizens and communities realize must be improved. The children of Arkansas are going to get the schools they need because we're arousing the citizens to a sense of their local responsibilities. It isn't easy, as you know, Mr. Toy, but we're getting there.
I know you will, Commissioner, and our compliments to you and Governor McMath. I think you would be interested in seeing what some other areas are doing.
The commission points with pride to Delaware, where much has been accomplished. There, the citizens organized a statewide council, which was instrumental in getting $19 million for school construction, a raise in teachers' pay, and a general review of the school laws. Kentucky, too, is getting in step with the times. And on a local scale, Westport, Connecticut has completed a comprehensive study. In Great Neck, New York, Superintendent John Miller, working with local civic organizations, has made the schools a focal point of the community. The National Citizens Commission is also cooperating with the Advertising Council in a nationwide campaign. Through the council, American business is contributing millions of dollars worth of advertising space in newspapers and national magazines. Nearly every network show on the air has donated time so that the problems of the schools can go to millions of listeners. The outdoor advertising industry is cooperating across the nation. The campaign for school improvement has been wholeheartedly backed by such well-known educators as Harvard's President James B. Conant.
I believe our system of public education is one of the unique features of the society which we have developed on this continent. The formation of the National Citizens Commission and the development of local groups working for their schools is potentially the most important move in the past 50 years for the advancement of elementary and secondary education.
In the American community, there is today a job for all the people. Here they live, and here are their children and their schools. And they must decide whether their public schools are equal to the changing times and to the needs of a free people. For the problem of our schools lies at the heart of our free society, and none of man's institutions has a deeper import for his destiny as a citizen, be it in the community, the nation, or the world. Time marches on